Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to cry. You can't fool me again.
What we gonna eat no money, what we at you, eat no at you. Covid money, miss away in the little rat you. Use the youth, the money, Mr. Musta Manti statue. Say me like a catch you, but me got in a figure you. Take the script of money, girl, and say that it's not you. One day the man above end up in my gut up. Too much it in the kitchen, some a fly by like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me.
300% raise.
It burn me.
Garbage pile of the day.
It burn me.
Give the teacher them raise.
It burn me.
I see corruption please.
It burn me.
Mash down the people them house.
It burn me.
Every day appear arms out.
It burn me.
Appear money them a thief.
It burn me.
And them a sell out the beach.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
For me say dig up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The already promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, they rap and they down in our fever. Member bowl money and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like thief when them sell.
It burn me.
Or they treat the market man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the cat man.
It burn me.
Or they treat the peanut man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the dirt man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the sun man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat policeman.
It burn me.
How them a treat soldier man.
It burn me.
How them a treat everyone.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't.
Boom! I mean, I say a couple to the flex they represent for Wayne Global TV. There. So I say, you know the code in the Wayne Global TV is what fully blessed on 90 days. So I say, yeah man, to the fullest. Yeah man, make sure them log in to Wayne Global TV. So I say, check it out. So I say, one cup of flex. So I say, Wayne Global. When you watch you know, feel my plan up and I try to put them on it and we head. But man, I live too long, them want Wayne Global fitted. To him juggle so smooth that them want him life for dread. I throw the bank, I like the break, but we ain't all about the bread. We open up in the ears and don't listen when we said, cause we lyrics them so smooth like the linen on the bed. Them one with a fall, travel living on the edge, I must say true, who make this them. We ain't Global TV, we are 90, and 90. Who Jaja bless, say no man can curse. Give it the Range Rover, who no drive years. Boom! We ain't Global TV to the fullest, one cup of excellence, see me?
Arranging the thieves to secure more kickbacks? Or is it just merely correcting the decisions, the wrong decisions of the past? Good evening and welcome to Drive Time London, Lunchtime Global. This is your afternoon program if you're on the Eastern time, and this is your Even Drive Time program if you are in the United Kingdom and London. Good evening to those on TikTok and welcome. Good evening to those on the Twitch, on X, on Facebook, on YouTube. good evening, and welcome to your Drive Time London Lunchtime Global Program. This evening, we are going to look at local elections because it is appearing more than more. Andrew Holness cannot back down from the constitutional deadline that he has postponed many times. JLP say they are ready. The People's National Party said they're ready. But are they ready in unity or are they ready divided? We will explore later, but as usual, let me say a pleasant good evening to everyone on the live. If it's your first time on any of our platform and you have not yet subscribed or follow, please do so. Please give us some likes and share if you're on any of the lives, any of our platform this evening, so the live can go out there to more people. Let them know that we are focusing and zooming on local government election and our representative, albeit we have not had a date yet set for our polling for local government election, but we will continue to rabble rouse over here to keep our people up to date and informed of their political system and structure. We are going to look at your policymakers at the local government level and their connections with the central government level, with the overarching constituency. So, where do we start? Just about anywhere. Let me do my usual by saying a pleasant good evening to Debbie Jervis, to Lilith Foster, Patricia Matthews, Sunshine, Amazing Grace. Good evening to you all. Good evening, Natalia Freeman. Good evening to Ado James. Good evening, veteran. Big up yourself. Big up and welcome as always, Alison Hamilton. Good evening and welcome, Anthony Graham. Good evening and welcome. I don't remember seeing you on the chat before. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining. Abina, good evening and welcome. Sharon Powell, good evening and welcome. VM, good evening and welcome to this your London Drive Time, Lunchtime Global. Good evening to everyone who is on the live, whether you are chatting or not. Good evening and welcome. Beat and teach where you're there. Cousin Jamie, where are you? Good evening to everyone and welcome to this, today our Thursday or Friday. So we have done like the politician them where we're having a Friday the 26th of January 2024. Welcome. The People's National Party said they're ready. Jamaica Labour Party said they're ready. Is the nation ready to choose their local government representative? Is the nation ready to choose their local government representative? The smart money is on the municipality, we can't call that word, no. Election being held in mid-February, meaning if that time frame is really in play, Prime Minister Holness will have to announce the date either today, the 26th, or by tomorrow to ensure the 21 days between the announcing of the election and polling day takes place. Mr. Holness, if he wishes, could run the clock down and hold the election at the latest date, which is the 20 that he constitutionally can, which is the 28th of February. So if he is going to wire down to the deadline, then 21 days before the end of February is when he will have to call the election. So what would that be? By the latest he has to announce the date. Help me here with mathematics, you all, because remember, me and the mayor related. The latest date he would have to announce the election if he's taking it down to the wire, would it not be on the 7th of February? If not today, Angela, 4834-9. Good evening and welcome. If not today or tomorrow, to meet the mid-February deadline, then the latest date to announce would be on the 7th. Sorry, the 7th of February. Am I wrong or right in that? Call up all the JLP councillors, because we're mainly zooming in on JLP councillors this evening because they say they're ready and they are united. So call the JLP councillors and their MP. Also call Dr. Chang, which is the General Secretary for the Jamaica Labour Party. He's the Deputy Prime Minister of our country. He's the Minister of National Security for our country. Unable to stay awake, Dr. Chang has those three powerful positions. The General Secretary, meet and teach, you just come evening. The General Secretary of the Jamaica Labour Party, who decide who gets the seat or not. The Deputy Prime Minister of our country, should Andrew Holness pop his clouds, Dr. Chang will become our next Prime Minister. Amazing Grace, good evening and welcome. Should Andrew Holness pop his clouds, Dr. Chang is the Prime Minister we would end up with. He would still probably keep his portfolio of National Security Minister and also take on the Defense Ministry. It is highly possible. Steph, good evening and welcome. Good evening and welcome to this or broadcast this evening. And Mary Messenger, good evening and welcome. Dr. Chang is busy within them being ready, reseating, unseating, and all sorts. Dorothy Elliott, good evening and welcome. So if the Jamaica Labour Party is ready, why are they going around just reseating people, taking out and putting in? Are they clearing up the dunce? Yvonne Green, good evening and welcome. Are they clearing up the dunce of the mistakes they have made for the of the past? Some local government representatives such as Mayor Matz and Councillor Resilient that got into our local government legislative chamber without seemingly being able to count or read. How much more of those people? How much more of Mayor Matz and Councillor Resilient do we have in our local government politics? How much more of Mayor Matz and Councillor Resilient do we have in our local government politics? Let's walk through some of what is going on. If you're following, Carla Williams, good evening and welcome. If you're following what is happening in the Gleaner, in the Portmore municipality, if that's the pronunciation, the people of Portmore said they want Mr. Dobney. Dr. Champ and his cahoots choice is Mayor, what's his name? Markland Edwards. This thing start playing up again. What is wrong this evening today with my, hold on, please. Hold on. I don't know why my queuing is messing up all day today and why my device is playing up on screen when I do all the restarting and testing before I come on, but nevertheless, let's progress. So the people of Portmore, I'll play you a clip of Portmore first, then we waffle on. Where is Portmore? Where is Portmore?
Because Mr. Dame has run for MP and Mr. Dame has only lost by 600. Nobody knows Mr. Markland. Because Mr. Dame has run for MP and Mr. Dame has only lost by 600. And where Mr. Dame lose is done by Clifton. Mr. Dame winning Portmore, but he lose done by Clifton. And Mr. Dame is the man for Portmore. I have books to show where he has given out care packages, he has done things for people, he has gone to food for the poor, to get the housing for people, and it's many in do for the people that need Portmore. And it is unfair to say a man affair run up and down and up there doing all them have to do, and all of a sudden they want to take him out and put somebody who don't know the people, who have never walked with the people them, and put them in. This is unfair, this is not fair.
So what did I say? That they don't want Markland?
They don't want Markland.
So the residents of Portmore are saying they don't want Markland as their mayor. They want Mr. Dobney because Mr. Dobney has proven that he's a people's person. He cares for the people. Mr. Dobney has always been here on the ground doing the work. And they are bringing their radio personality, Mr. Markland Edwards, to enforce on the people, which is not their wish because they approve of Mr. Dobney. Mr. Dobney has been doing work within the constituency. The residents are saying Mr. Dobney is a people's person, and that's the person they want at their local government. Wellness warrior Sophie, good evening and welcome. Why is it then that the Jamaica Labour Party is busy going around removing the people in some instance who the community wants to be their representative? Is it securing people who they know will assist them in their corruption, particularly in gaining kickback money from the award of a lot of these dubious contracts? We also remember nest in the arm. Hope this thing don't play, Lord Jesus. In Nesta Morgan constituency, one of Nesta Morgan councillor had to jump ship because he described Nesta Morgan as dictator, despot, no doubt bully, and all sorts. It is common across our politics in our country that the misappropriation, embezzlement of our money is intertwined in local government, between local government and central government, especially in the area of awarding contracts. A lot of our money, i.e., such as the 700 billion The 700 billion from the Department of Education, from the Department of Health, and no doubt from these many departments within the Prime Minister's office, cannot be accounted for. They cannot tell us where or on what $700 billion was spent. Or they cannot come to the country and point to us and say, this is where the money was invested. This is where the money propped up or shored up or whatever. If they can't verify it on paper how they spend it, then they wouldn't be able, because in that case, everything would carry the paper trail. The problem goes on. Portland, this is Darrell Vaz. This is Darrell Vaz constituency. Darrell Vaz is unseating a mayor, a councillor, with his councillor of choice. He's unseated the councillor that has been duly elected from the last local government election and is in the seat and was approved to go up in the next local government election. But all of a sudden, Darrell Vaz has his special candidate to put in for the mayor for Margaret Bay. Is it a case where Stephen Williams is not working with Darrell Vaz corruption, especially when it comes to Darrell Vaz bad man them go pick up kickback money from councillor? Is this the problem between Darrell Vaz? Is this the problem between Darrell Vaz and Stephen Williams? Then that should lead the voters to ask, if the war is over kickback between Darrell Vaz and Stephen Williams, then we should ask Clyde McKenzie. We should ask Clyde McKenzie, are you a corrupt person? Have you made any private deal with Darrell in order to be enforced on the people of Margaret Bay? We have to follow the twist and turn in our politics, where they're placing their own people where they want them, rather than allowing the community to choose who they want to represent them. So even though we're told it's an election, if the wrong person is selected for us to vote for, then it cannot be an election. It would still be a selection, because the selection starts from up there, so come down. Is the JLP ready in unity? Does Darrell Vaz have any more changes to do in his constituency to secure his chopping? Does Darrell Vaz have any more? Does Darrell Vaz have any more changes to make in his constituency to support, to secure choppings? Send go call Councillor Dion Hunter. Councillor Dion Hunter of Buff Bay. My intelligence on Counselor Hunter. God Almighty, now Jesus. I will ball for around you now. Murder. What should we ball for? My intelligence on Counselor Hunter is that Counselor Relisent or Mayor Max not have much fun her. Because me here say she would chow up a whole piece of paper and you have to knock her back and choke it out her before she realized her name was on that piece of paper. If this is not the case, because you're our public servants, you're our local government legislator. So if Madam Diane Hunter don't know if I'm Bullfoot, just like a councillor resident and Mayor Max, we need to know who we're electing at our local government council coming the next election. Because these people are making policies for us at the local government level. Not only that, but they are spending our money at the local government level. And if Councillor Diane Hunter can't read to help ourselves, can't string a few sentences well together to help ourselves, if that is the case, then if that is a lie, then the councillor, by all means, can come on Global TV and let's play book club, pick up a book and read to the public. She's welcome to do that. But we also should question whether someone who has been elected at the local government level have the legislative competence or the policy understanding competencies to really do effective work for us at the local government level. It's important to stop electing dunce into position of power. It is said that, what you call him, where is he? Mayor Max is the mayor within no other than Anne of Galilee. And the whole of we already know how Anne does. And then when you put Anne, who is at the central government level, they're all Anne of Galilee. When you put Anne of Galilee, who is at the central government level, to Mayor Max on the local government level, for both of them at the constituency level, Tina Moore, good afternoon and welcome. Anne of Galilee, who's responsible for your constituency, and the Mayor Max, who is responsible for your municipality. Can you understand the failures in our politics when people like Anne get there because our bad man husband can control Portland with their money and them bad man influence? Add to Mayor Max, becoming here said, don't bother ask if Mayor Max believe in the kickbacks. This is why them hell-bent on Mayor Max. They're not replacing Mayor Max. Them are replace other dons. Darrell, if you have any more replacement to do, please let me know. I want to know how interested, Darrell, you are on those kickback money and who are the corrupt mayors and councillors, Darrell Vaz, that you are putting in place to make sure the corruption continues in Portland. The embezzlement, Darrell Vaz. The embezzlement, Darrell and Annie Vaz, Anne of Galilee. Good evening, Roger. I am Roger Forbes, and welcome. Roger Forbes is my brother. Good evening and welcome. Darrell Vaz, if Darrell Vaz is propping up his cronies to collect and to secure kickback money, then we ought to call them out and question them. And the public ought to be knowledgeable of who they're voting for and the type of characters that these people have that they are voting for. Because if I look pan water and I cry, the mayor get $10 for share for 2 people. And by the time the mayor don't share the $10 end up in a $15. These are the 2 people we have overarching or constituency and municipality. Can you all see and understand why our system continue to fail or there's no progression? Shauna Smith, good evening and welcome. There is no progression in our system because everything is all about politics, nepotism, and stealing. How much of this 700 billion, how much of this 700 billion that cannot be accounted for in the Department of Education, the Prime Minister's office, or Department of Health? How much of that gets trickled down to the local government level? How much of that gets trickled down to the local government level? And how much of that money gets shifted and wasted by our local government representative? You see why nothing cannot happen in our country? You see why we're not having any development? Why we're not having much success stories? But what I will do, I don't think I've done it. Nothing me mad yet. We've always, in our country, a lot of the story that would come across our screens and papers are the negative stories. I want to take a bit of time this evening to highlight a positive story, something that I am passionate about. One of my globalists sent it to me. Something I'm passionate about, and it is becoming a reality through diasporans. Take a look at this.
My name is Keisha Forrest. I'm a registered midwife with the Westmoreland Health Department, and hopefully be a first responder with the Jaja Foundation and the GEMS.
Right, so you took the decision to be one of the volunteers. Why did you do that?
I think volunteer ambulance service is something that we need, not just here in Westmoreland, but right across the island. You call the ambulance number, and unfortunately, majority of the time, there's no ambulance available. I don't think we have enough of that service that can help our patients, maybe save lives. All right? And I think the more persons that are trained towards what to do when they buck up on an emergency, it might limit the amount of casualties we have in the overall.
Okay. Well, thank you for volunteering. You've had a chance to examine the ambulance. What do you think about it?
It's impressive. It is clean. It is. I can't wait to see it fully equipped.
Right.
It has features in there that I have been on the ambulance here in Westmoreland, and some of the things in there we don't have. So it seems like it's a newer unit. There is a whole setup of telecommunication in terms of a telephone foot with the front and the back. There is directional capabilities in there. There is, I noticed that there's also already set up in place the suction units, the oxygen thing is in place already, cameras are in there also for our protection and that of the patients. I love that.
It is a thorough inspection.
Walde Christos from Bluefields, Westmoreland, Jamaica.
Right, so you're one of the GEMS volunteer for the volunteer EMS pilot program?
That's definitely.
Right. You've had a chance to look at the ambulance. Tell us your thoughts on the ambulance.
Well, I want to say that it's really looking good. I know it's in tip-top shape. I can see that. And this is an excellent service that will be offered in a very modern and, something that really looking good. So I really, really, really appreciate what, Jaja Foundation is doing.
What made you decide to be one of the EMS volunteers?
Well, again, is that anything in order for the advancement of my people or our people, I'm definitely a part of that.
Well, thank you for volunteering, and I hope we'll get the ambulance on the road soon so that you can be busy about saving lives, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, my name is Richard Mitchell. I'm from Shrewsbury, Westmoreland.
All right, Mr. Mitchell, you're one of the GEMS volunteers for the pilot EMS program. This is the ambulance that you're going to be using to run the service. It's one of the ambulances that are here so far. You've had a chance to inspect it. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's a good look. I like it. You know what I like about it? It have 4 cameras, back, front, and inside. Right. So any little thing to cover us.
Are you
cover the drivers and oh Lord, I can't wait.
To get going on the road?
I can't wait.
Okay. And do you think this is a well-needed service in this area?
More than well-needed.
Yeah?
Overdue. Yes, man.
Well, thank you for volunteering, and I hope we'll get the ambulance on the road soon.
I hope so too. Thank you.
I don't want to use too much of paper content because the robots are all over the place. But the clipping is much longer. The foundation is called Jaja Foundation. They're on social media. You can check them out. I think this is a brilliant initiative. I think rather than investing, Stacey, good evening. Yes, Stacey, me live. I did live this morning as well. Me feel better, me not 100% yet, but I'm feeling much better than yesterday. But you can check out Jaja Foundation on social media. They have started a pilot project of supplying ambulance service within the Negril area at the moment. This project is, if successful and if it is properly funded, they want to roll it out across the island. A lot of the time, a lot of our people died, especially to do with accident or issues of trauma. Wellness Warrior, I'm not quite aware of how much ambulance they have at the moment, but they're doing the pilot project in Negril, and they're hoping to expand it across the island. But they are a charitable foundation, and I think these are things that is worthy of our investment, because this is something that will benefit a lot of Jamaicans at home. A lot of the time our people die, especially from accident or issues to do with trauma, is lack of first instance care, where they're not escorted properly to hospital, they're not placed properly when taken to hospital, because in an accident, the first thing you do, you remove the first responders do. you move in to secure the spinal cord. No matter what else is going around the victim, even if they're bleeding profusely, securing the spinal cord is very important in a scene of an accident, because the spinal cord could be ruptured, and depends on how you handle that victim, that accident victim, you can further disrupt everything and kill the person. Whereas if there's a first responder who is experienced and know to, even before we're going to try stem the blood, we need to secure the spinal cord, because that is very important. So this type of project with the type of training is something I think us Jamaicans at home and in the diaspora can invest in and should invest in, because it will benefit our people all across the island. Now, when you look at the billions, that's been looted from the Ministry of Health, and we have dilapidated hospitals. As you see, the Americans targeting our healthcare in their latest level 3 reconsider your travel arrangement advisory that they put out on Jamaica. Imagine some of these billions were invested into projects like what we see Judge Foundation is doing. Imagine Ministry of Health and the government come on board and said, we're going to invest in Judge Foundation. So by giving them, financing them to buy 14 ambulances in their hope to roll out their initiative, their great plan across the country. You know how that would benefit Jamaicans? You know how much life that could save an accident, stabbing, or shooting scene? Because if first responders get there early enough to stem the flow of the blood, to secure the spine, to give oxygen, and whatever first instant aid is needed until they get to the primary care. I think this is something great that if we can, we should invest into. I want to look at something. This wasn't a story that I was interested in, but I want to respond to something that the Gleaner said in an article today. Where is my queuing? Oh, yes, so? No, yes, so. Spare me a second, please. I'm coming to the end of my broadcast, but I just want to well, of course, the One Love premiere, the premiere of the One Love Bob Marley happened in Jamaica. Prince Harry and Meghan was there. Kate in a hospital with abdominal surgery. Charles is about to go into hospital for prostate treatment. The media went in a frenzy, or their usual criticism of Harry and Meghan. They went into their usual criticism of Harry and Meghan because it's a frenzy for them. But these, for me personally, are not stories. So these are not things I would focus on or waste my time on. But I want to point out a miseducation, misinformation, and propaganda as usual by the Gleaner. Because the Gleaner seem to be towing Even though, you know, the Gleaner fifth columnist, them speak by your side when them a look by you, and when they turn you back, them bite you. The Gleaner put out this today, but I'm not going to focus on their entire paragraph. I'm going to focus on one word: exile. The highlighted word on the screen: exiled. In the context of how the Gleaner wrote this is misinformation. The definition of exile, look. A person who's been expelled, or barred from their native country, typically for political or punitive reasons. How then is the Gleaner making in this? Jason Kane, good evening and welcome. Better late than never. How then is the Gleaner with this propaganda? Because for me, this is an alignment of the attack on Harry and Meghan. How is the Gleaner calling Harry and Meghan exile? Is the Gleaner educating the people when using these words, or is the Gleaner deliberately misleading the people by using the word exile in the context of Harry and Meghan? Harry and Meghan is not barred from Britain. They chose to leave. Wherever they are, they will be criticized. Senorita, good evening. Wherever they are, they will be criticized. Wherever they live, the media will be writing about them. They are not barred from Britain. They are not expelled from Britain. They are free to come whenever they want. They weren't expelled by the royals as we know it in public record. Harry asked to step away from royal duty. They chose to leave Britain because of their own security reasons after his stepping away from as a working royal. So for the Gleaner to be misleading people in using the word exile in context to Harry and Meghan is just the Gleaner jumping onto the British propaganda by putting out false narrative. How are you going to tell the people that Harry and Meghan is exiled when they can go and come from Britain as they choose? We must always call out the Gleaner and their propaganda. It was the same way even when they knew Melissa Silvera was murdered. They continuously using the word death of Melissa Silvera. We must always call out the Gleaner and their useless narratives and propaganda, because a lot of the time the Gleaner plays the government propaganda. Colin Humphreys, good evening and welcome. The Gleaner plays the government propaganda in order to continue to hold us in contempt by burying information that the public should be aware of, and continuously misleading the public in their narratives and their wordings when they write. Because to use the word exile in context to Meghan and Harry, it's just blatant propaganda. The Gleaner knows that. But the Gleaner is just playing the British narrative against those they cannot control. But in closing this evening, while you all know that I will not let this story go, but I am still waiting for Mark Golden to give clarity to the public with relation to his announcement on the 11th of November with regards to the death then of Melissa Silvera, which we knew now from the 16th of December 2023, it was no longer a death, but a cold, brutal murder. Not just a cold, brutal murder known only to Julian Silvera, but a cold, brutal murder known to members of the People's National Party, hierarchies in the People's National Party. Members and hierarchies in the People's National Party entered the crime scene. Members of the People's National Party saw the bloody crime scene. BCA Smith, good evening and welcome. Long time no see. Good evening. Members of the People's National Party, high-profile members of the People's National Party, saw the bloody crime scene. If they allow Golden to mislead us on the morning of the 11th of November, it is now quite clear that it should be clarified to the public that Mark Golden was lied to or misled. Mark Golden must distance himself and the People's National Party and any position or previous to Julian Silvera had in the People's National Party. Is Mark Golden going to sluggishly walk into the election with the Jamaica Labour Party wielding a dangerous PR stick over your back? Of course, the JLP have their own Patrick Bailey murder and cover to deal with. But the truth be told, what makes the Julian Silvera situation different, it's not to our knowledge that members of the Jamaica Labour Party or the Prime Minister for that matter, who was a client to Patrick Bailey then, we have no knowledge that they visited the bloody crime scene in the murder of Jermaine Jr. But more and more information are surfacing that high-profile members of the People's National Party, sitting and active members and previous members of the People's National Party, wife of members of the People's National Party, visited the bloody scene, assisted in the cover-up until the 16th of December. We are still interested to know who they are and when Mark Golden will speak to the nation. This was your Drive Time London Lunchtime Global. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to those on TikTok, to those on the X, to those on Twitch, on Facebook, on YouTube. Thank you very much for being here with me another evening. We really appreciate your support. We will be back this evening with our final broadcast for the day, which is the People's Point of View. Dorothy Elliott, good evening. And please do get into the conversation. If you have a view, you know the numbers periodically will appear on the screen. Always take note of the numbers. And if you have, if you want to make a point, if you have a view that you want to put across, always call Global TV, because this is the People's Station. And we are willing to listen to everyone and give everyone a voice over here. If you're here and you have not subscribed yet, please do subscribe, follow, get involved in the chat, the live chat, and in the after comment. Always also give us your feedback. We will not get angry about anything over here. We're always here to communicate and learn. Thank you all so much for being here with me this evening. I hope to see your company. Give us some more likes, please. There's not enough likes for the amount of you who are here. Before you go, just make sure you hit the like button if you have not done so. Thank you to those on TikTok. I really appreciate your support. Thank you, and good evening until tonight when we return. Thank you very much.